Radio.com.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Freddie O over there acting like he don't be doing nothing.
Exactly.
But y'all need to understand, Freddie O is the man. Pay attention. Freddie O.
In the streets.
Freddie what?
Freddie in the streets.
You gotta use that. You gotta use that.
We here with my girl, the one, the only, Miss McCoy. Right, you see the gospel blessings. We are here live.
What?
We're here at the Amazing Grace premiere.
The grace that is amazing with Freddie O.
Use it.
You see what I'm saying? How sweet the sound.
Let him use it.
I was lost at one time,
Wow.
but now I'm fine.
She fine.
Won't it come through? Won't it do it every time? Yes, he will. Freddie.
Go on and give us a little something.
Listen, let me tell you.
Go on and give us some of that.
Ooh, Lord. Just as soon as I see Jesus,
Say what?
the man that died for me,
Please.
you know the man that bled and suffered. He died for you and me. I'm going to thank him because he brought.
Say what?
Thank you, Jesus, cause you taught me.
Let him use it.
Thank you, Jesus, cause you kept me.
Yeah, really.
Thank you, cause you never left me. I wanna sing.
Sing it then.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm gonna sit here. I just feel it. You know when you get around anything, Aretha Franklin, sing. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got to be able to sing, but you want to sing. Queen of Soul. She make you want to sing. Amazing Grace.
When you think about Aretha, what is one of those things that you just know that's what makes her Aretha?
It's that soul, that grind, that spirit. That sister was anointed. So I don't care what she sang. She had that power behind her voice and her tone. She had that power to reach absolutely anybody. Just church folks. Anybody. And everybody felt welcome to Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, just like the way you made me feel. You came through in the crotch. And we got our religion, yes, in the spirit of Aretha. And we are here. She gonna host the event. She gonna bless us with some of these extra special blessings that she got from Aretha.
That's right.
Aretha done came through and gave us some of that lovely spirit. Yes, she done touched it right now. She got touched right here in the movie theater. So we thanking you. We gonna talk more. We gonna talk more. We got lots of stuff coming up. We got lots of stuff coming up. Wait, tell them where they can follow you and tell them how they can get be listening to you every day, because the people, they do need to listen to the Queen.
Let me tell you, I don't know why you're not listening to the Nightly Spirit if you ain't listening to it. 7 to 11 p.m. every single night, Monday through Friday. But you can hit me up on Instagram at Darlene McCoy. And if you don't know where it is in your city, if you can't find Nightly Spirit in your city, hit me up on Instagram. I'll tell you where it is, baby.
Right. No. Y'all better go follow my girl and stay focused on the Lord. Focused on the Lord. And Aretha. We here at the premiere of Amazing Grace, y'all. So we got the crowd here, and that's my girl Darlene McCoy. She is doing it up. She is one of the biggest radio personalities here in Atlanta. And so we're gonna go through the carpet. We got lights and stars here. We got all kind of stuff, and most importantly, y'all, you got me. So before we do anything, I need y'all to make sure y'all hit like, subscribe, and that bell notification, because if you don't hit the bell, you won't see the videos. So we're gonna go ahead and get back to the carpet and give you a whole quick recap. All right, we out. y'all doing? We all state your names.
Christine Franklin.
And Vaughn Franklin.
Yes, they are family members of Miss Franklin. Have you all seen the documentary, and are you excited about what you're about to see, or have you, because you all, of course, you heard the album, but you all are about to really see your auntie in a whole nother light, and just to reminisce and bring back her spirit, which was such a big one and so giving. So just to be here and to see this today, how does that feel?
It feels great. We have seen it. We saw it when it premiered in New York back in November, but we can see it over and over again, and we'll never tire of seeing it.
Each time you see it, like my wife said, we've seen it many times, but every time you see it, it's like seeing it for the very first time. The upbeat lifting, the way she sashays down the aisle, the way she sings, and when she performs, it's all natural. You can see that she's really gonna be singing from the heart and the soul, and it's a different Aretha Franklin that you're accustomed to seeing. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy it.
Now, the new movie that's getting ready to come out that she was working on before she passed, will the family participate at all in the movie?
The family will not participate in the movie, but of course the estate is approving the movie, and we'll be working with the producers and directors to make sure that we're okay with how it will be presented.
The film that we're getting ready to see today, did the family have anything to do with that? How as a family do you all feel about it?
We feel good about it, and I'll defer to my husband on the rest.
The family feels real good about the movie. One good thing is that, two things, Miss Franklin, before she passed away, she had a chance to see it, and she approved of the movie. As far as the upcoming movie about her life, she had an opportunity to pick some of the people that are going to betray our family members. So she did have her hands in the upcoming movie, and she had her hands in the documentary, and she did approve of it.
The film that we're getting ready to see, what is one thing that you want people to walk away from leaving it, like the feeling of Miss Franklin?
That she never left the church. You get to see the spiritual side of Aretha. Many people know that she was a spiritual person, but you really get to see it in the making of this album.
And she was always a giving person. She loved the people, she loved the community, and I think this is just one last thing that she can give to her fans and the people that really loved her. So I think they're going to really enjoy this movie, this documentary. It's not a movie, this documentary.
Thank y'all so much. It means the world to me, and I will definitely be passing the word. Can we get a drop?
You get a drop?
Right, yeah, we know we need it. Right.
You get a drop?
Can I?
I don't know. Can you?
We here at the Amazing Race film.
The who? What the hell are you?
The Amazing Grace.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Were you a Aretha fan?
Absolutely. I grew up on Aretha Franklin. I mean, she was played in my house. We knew who she was.
So where did you grow up at? Because that would kind of help.
Chicago, Illinois. So where's she from?
Right. Look, you got it from Jamaica, right? So with the film that we're getting ready to see, and it's being such a gospel-rooted type film, what do you think people will leave from? Because did you know Aretha at all, or have any kind of connection with her throughout the years?
I didn't know who. I'd never met her, but I knew her. I knew who she was. I think at this time in this country, everything is so dark, and right now we need some light. And I think this film is a connection to that light. I think we'll see her being the artist that she is, actually getting the inspiration and giving it to the people. I think that's what we'll see from this movie.
Well, we hear your voice. Your voice sounds like you definitely are a singer. So quickly, we've been hearing some things about rebooting.
I have neither been contacted nor contracted. That's my word. That's my line.
Well, I definitely want people to support you. Do you have anything else going on or if people wanted to follow up with you, how could they do that?
You can go to my Instagram is official TC Carson. My Twitter is TC Carson. My Facebook is TC Carson. If you put in TC Carson, you will find me.
No, he's actually.
Yes.
Well, that worked for me. Look, we found him, and he's here. Thank you, man.
So if you could, I see this movie. It just warms my heart. I'd like to invite Vaughn Franklin to come on down if he could. We're going to have a little discussion, and our friend Byron Cage is going to moderate for us. Byron, where are you at? All right. And but it's something else when you actually see it versus just hearing it. There's many times I've listened to Amazing Grace, and I've always wondered why the piano dropped out towards the end of the song. I've always wondered that. And then to see that James Cleveland was so overcome that he left the piano to go to the choir stand and really put a stamp on it for me. And there were some times during Never Grow Old where Aretha just was in complete worship as the church was being torn up around her. And it just amazed me how she maintained. So, again, I'm so glad that you guys got a chance to see Amazing Grace. Can you guys welcome Von Franklin? And of course, Mr. Byron Cage.
Well, wasn't that awesome? You almost, if you just close your eyes, you felt like you were right in church. And I was 10 years old when they did that. And I remember, some of you all remember 45s and 78s and 33s, 8-track tapes. We all wasn't streaming back then, amen? And so I'm just so honored that they are putting gospel music out at this level. And we've got to tell everybody when it's released, we need to see this movie. Because I'm just believing that this gospel music is going to come to the forefront again in a major way with this release. And how many of you all still like traditional gospel music? Love church music? My old mentor, Reverend Donald Bales, used to say church music works on church people. And you can tell that it's worked on these people then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, for me, I've always been a lover of church and church music. Our Bishop Ron Saylor Sr., there were many a days at church where he would just out of nowhere just go back into an old hymnal. And the musicians would have to catch up.
Oh, yeah.
Us deacons, we'd have to figure out what to sing. And we'd mouth along for a while. But he kept those things alive for us to ensure that we always knew something about our culture and our heritage. And while I enjoy contemporary music just as much, I don't want us to lose the fact that those songs that Aretha was singing are songs that carried us over many, many years. And that our ancestors would sing those songs and pass those songs down to ensure that we had something to hold on to in the late nights and when things weren't going as well. So I never want us to get too caught up in the luxuries of life or the contemporary spaces that we get into, that we lose focus on what those songs really mean, which is another reason why it's so special that Aretha went back to the church. As James Cleveland said, she could have easily, by this time, she had 11 #1 hits in 1972. She was the Beyonce of the day. She didn't have to go into a church. She decided that's where she wanted to make this album.
And you're right, you know, if you had the opportunity to ever attend one of her concerts, one thing that she did before she closed is she took you back to church. You know, she would get on stage, and I call it the happy dance. Her closing act would always be the happy dance, even when you went to visit her. We were on vacations, we would travel around wherever. You know, she would walk through the house and just sing. You know, she would sing anything from Luther Vandross, but she always came back to the gospel roots and some of the songs that she would sing. So that's one of the fond memories I do have of her.
Yeah. And one of the great things about the gospel of that era is that we didn't have auto-tunes. There was nothing that our voice could enhance. That's all natural. And she was a straight trip. You saw Mick Jagger in the audience and some of the other rock stars that were all touched by what she did.
Well, there's a story behind that. You know, so night one, Aretha came in and, you know, really did a great job. Well, word got out fast all over the city. But it also got as far as Detroit, where Reverend C.L. Franklin decided he was going to hop out and get out to L.A. to catch this. Well, Mick Jagger, who was on the other side of town, was recording an album. Charlie Watts and him heard that Aretha was performing, and they decided, we got to get over to see what's going on because we hear how special this is. And people don't realize that he talks very clearly today about that evening. And he's done a few articles where he just says how much energy was in that room and how Aretha really just brought it to life.
She did. She inspired so many artists like myself, even Bishop William Murphy, who's in the room as well. He's the #1 gospel artist in the country.
Yes, he is. Congratulations, Bishop.
#1 on Billboard. We thank God for several years. But I say all that to say we have been so influenced by her. He was born in Pontiac, Michigan, and I grew up in Detroit as well. And so for us to be that close and not really know what we were having. I said, of course, she went to Los Angeles and became very popular, but she never left her gospel roots.
That's
never.
great. But look at the number of people came back the second day. You know, you had a large showing the first day, but even some of those people came back the second day just to hear a little bit more or get the spiritual blessing, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, they felt something. Whenever she sang the song, you felt something out of it.
Absolutely. And you know this, but I want to highlight it. She also was recording an album. So, you know, I've been asked, hey, why does Aretha, when she finishes the songs, why does she kind of seem a little reserved? Well, she's holding it in. I mean, she's really maintaining her composure and her breathing. She's recording not just an album. This was to go on to be the #1 selling live gospel album of all time. So the professionalism of what it is she was doing that night was uncanny for, you know, just the setting and everything that was taking place. She maintained a level of professionalism to deliver these songs with spirit, in control, magnificently, while, you know, everything, and you can feel the spirit is just swirling around her.
And for that to be her highest selling CD of all time was the gospel album. It's an incredible fit. Because I think people, though they love, respect, and all that kind of good stuff, when you take us back to church and you start praising God, that spirit is going to call to the spirit. And I think that's why people love her, and she can still sing gospel today and bless the house, because she just was an anointed vessel.
Absolutely. You know, but when her father walked in, did you see a change in her? She became very humbled because, you know, she was raised in the church. She looked up to her father, my grandfather, and she was very humbled through the entire thing. And even when he was talking, she sat there and she looked like a little girl. You know, and she was looking, and she had that little kitty look in her eyes and a little smile and grin and everything. And even when she walked over to him, I don't know what they were doing, but it's like she wiped something off his leg, and, you know, she was making sure he was taken care of. And the same thing with him when she was singing. He walked up with the handkerchief, and he was wiping the sweat off her brow and, you know, taking care of her. So you can see the mutual respect and love for each other coming from the heart and the church.
You know, one of the things that I really enjoy with this film is some of the special moments I've had as we've been rolling it out. And let me, you know, I'm at home, so I'm just going to be relaxed a little bit. This has been hard. I mean, I want y'all to understand, this is, I sent a text to my friend Rob Hardy just the other day, and I was like, bruh, you never told me how hard it was to produce a movie. Like, this is really, really difficult, people. And this is footage that's almost 50 years old. So there's so many ups and downs that I've been going through with this. But there was a night not long ago, I was in Detroit, and we showed it to some people there. It was an early advanced screening, and Irma's daughter was in the audience, and actually a couple of the grandkids was there. Sabrina's son.
Oh.
And what they said was, we've never seen our grandfather on video. We've seen pictures of him. We've heard recordings of his voice. And they were just crying, and they said, but we've never seen him on video like that, Tirrell. Like, this really blessed us. And so it's these little moments, these little nuances, when you discover something like this that's almost 50 years old, and you're able to pull it together and deliver it in this fashion, it really makes it special.
And as a recording artist, there's so much that goes in, that's involved in getting to that type of level. And for her to be able to have legends in the room with the Claire Awards and so many others, that, wow, I'm just glad they captured it. I'm glad they captured that moment, and it can never happen again.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because, you know, I would never take this film to a cinematography class or a director's master class and say, hey, here's the shining example of filmmaking. This is about, you know, one of the most, you know, just odd type film scenarios you could have. So I'll give you a little backdrop against it. There's a 5-camera shot. There were no clappers. There's not one clapper ever used. And the filmmakers or the cameramen were turning the cameras on and off, on and off, on and off. So I'm giving you an idea of what the technical issue was. So there's no sync points. So you lose, so in 1972 when you finish, you have streams of film and then you just have reels of audio. But there's no way to put them together. You can't sync them up. They hired Alexander Hamilton, who was the choir director, who is a great choir director and arranger. They hired him to go into a studio and then do lip syncing to try to sync up the film and the audio. He spent 2 months. He came out with only 20 minutes. They had spent some money, and then after that they said, this is a wreck. We got 20 hours, and he was able to give us 20 minutes. There's no way we're going to get through this. That's how they canned the film. And so it just sat there. Till 2007, 2008, a woman named Beverly that works for Deluxe met Alan in just what some people would say a happenstance. I call it the divine intervention. They got together, and Beverly said, hey, Alan Elliott, who's the other producer, I have the technology to bring the audio and video together. So she took all of the raw material, all the film, and as well as all the reels, she synced it all up, and thus started the making of what was to become a film. So just in that moment there, it just took so many things. And then again, this is years and years later for technology to get where it needed to be for us to even get to the point of having a film. So when you see it, and versus what I know, like there's moments that, you know, had to be intercut and interwoven to give you a complete picture of what the song was. There were angles and cameras all over the place that had to be interlocked with audio so that you could get a complete picture. So it's a really dynamic, to me, almost a miracle that this actually exists as a document or a historical document of footage that people can watch. And fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, this is one of the few that we have. You know, I don't know this, but I have yet to hear about a video of when Michael Jackson recorded Thriller or when Prince recorded Purple Rain. But to have this footage of Aretha Franklin recording Amazing Grace is absolutely a historical document of this time.
No overdubs.
None at all.
That's all live singing.
This is all live. Now the album, interesting enough, this is where you get differences in the album. There are some overdubs on the album, and there's some versions in this movie that aren't part of the album. So there's these interesting dynamics between the two components that I think make it extremely unique.
Yeah, you know, one thing that continuously came up, even when we were traveling to New York not producing it, but starting to talk about the movie as it came out. But people would ask, well, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for a movie like this or a documentary to come out? And everyone has their own beliefs. I believe it was timing. I believe it's all about timing. Everyone loved the documentary, you know, gave thumbs up. But I do believe that, me knowing my aunt, I think she wanted to leave something behind for people to enjoy after she was gone. Because, you know, when people pass away, sometimes you have a tendency to forget or you think about them or whatever. But seeing her on film again brings everything back. All those feelings that you had when you were young, you grew up with her, those special moments. I think that's what this documentary is all about. Because
we know that there's a biopic with Jennifer Hudson coming. There's another Nat Geo, Clive Davis property, film television, 10-part, I think it's a 10-part television series coming. So there's a lot of other content around Aretha that's coming, but Aretha's legacy is going to live on. Yeah.
I'm Audrey Thomas from Detroit.
In Detroit with a premiere on Aretha's birthday, March 25th, which was, of course, intentional. Aretha is known for having a birthday party on March 25th, and so we used the film as her birthday this year.
And will this be available on DVD at some point?
It will, but it's going to hit theaters first. So we start the rollout. It's called platform release, and so we're going to start rolling the film out on April 5th. But April 19th, which is Easter weekend, is when it's going to be wide, and it'll be in theaters. So the plan has always been start the campaign on her birthday, and the film is released Easter weekend. So this is your Easter weekend film to see, is Amazing Grace.
Okay, y'all, we just finished watching the film. Oh my God, it was amazing. Aretha, we love the film, yo. Oh man, and they put the film out, just in case you wonder why the film was put out. The film was put out right now because it is her birthday. Well, shall we say March 25th was her birthday, but they having an April release date, y'all, so you gotta go support them and support Aretha's new film. Now, real quick, the film, oh man, if you are a singer, if you are a gospel music connoisseur, this is the film for you. So please make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share this video because we're trying to get the word out about Aretha's new movie, man. You're going to be singing all night. You're going to come home and you're going to be singing Amazing Grace. Woo, he took us there. He took us to church, y'all. But anyway, I really enjoyed the film, and most importantly, it was just like one of those films where if you are an Aretha Franklin fan, you absolutely got to see. You get to see her daddy. You get to see a lot of old school gospel artists. They even got Mick Jagger is in the movie. So again, make sure y'all hit like, subscribe, the bell notification, and most importantly, share this video. Because if you don't share the video, they won't see it. All right, y'all. We out.
Radio.com.